Afternoon, people. We are back. 12th Man is back. The channel's back, and this show is back. Gooner to Gooner, one of my favourite Gooners, is back to talk all things Arsenal with me. It's Mr. Chris Hudson. How you doing, Chris?
All right, mate. Yeah, it's still wallowing in the weekend, but it's quite nice, isn't it?
Oh, mate, quite nice is an understatement. I'm still buzzing myself. I don't really want to not stop talking about it, to be honest. It's been so
No,
good.
but we got to. We got
But
to.
yeah, I know we have to move on in football and all that, but it's hard not to, mate. When it's hard to move on from when I got all week to the build-up. Spurs fans giving it to me. Not one Spurs fan told me that they were going to lose this fixture, so it's brilliant to actually get one past them, mate. And I think the way that we won it is even more beautiful in the last couple of years, to be honest, because we had two of our best players out. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Atalanta. We're going to talk about the links to Saliba and Real Madrid, even though they're very, very loose links at the moment. And I want to talk to you about what you would do on Thursday night in terms of rotation, Chris. There's a lot to get through, mate, but we got to start with the North London derby, mate. I was there with the boys. It was absolutely quality. Great away support as ever. And a fantastic game. And I wanted to ask you from the off, Chris, I wanted to ask you your thoughts of the game, but do you think this kind of Arteta masterclass thing is deserved? Because a lot of people are saying, it's not deserved, Spurs were just rubbish, but I actually think we deserve a hell of a lot of credit defensively at the weekend again, Chris.
No, be honest, I was quite nervous about that game, mainly because, the injuries. And it's not sort of thing, that's not the first time Arteta's pulled that off, And I do like that. I love that sort of comparison that Neville made with 1991 George Graham Arsenal. We're so organised. It's wonderful. That is in Arsenal's DNA. Especially, it all depends how old you are. If you was brought up in the Wenger era, it was all wonderful, beautiful football.
Yeah.
But someone like me, who goes right back to the Graham days, I just love a 1-0. I love a clean sheet, Dan. I just love it. And I'll tell you something. Last season, we let in 23 goals. Now, the record for the Premier League is Jose's Chelsea with 15. And the least we've conceded in the season is 18. Now, I think we can better our 23 this season. Because remember, we're going to be even more secure when Mourinho comes back and we get Calafiori up and running. People forget that. Imagine, it's one that I just love a clean sheet there. And no, it's not a one-off for Arteta. He's done it before. And I hope he'll do it again, hopefully.
Listen, I've got to agree with you. Now, I grew up in the George Graham era, then we saw the Arsene Wenger era. They were very different styles of football, two very different styles of football, really. 1-0 to the Arsenal, 2-1 to the Arsenal. And then when we started to see 3s and 4s and 5s and sometimes 6 and 7s under Wenger, of course, it was beautiful. But I'm not going to lie to you, Chris. I celebrated as much at 1-0 as I did at 7-0. So I don't really care, to me, what the score is if you take 3 points, right? But I will tell you this, I think that this style of football is more similar to George Graham than Arsene Wenger. I really do. I think looking at the 1-0s and 2-1 to the Arsenal at the moment, I think we can concede less than 20 goals this season if everyone stays fit. I really do, Chris.
Well, I agree with that. And but we're back. Logically, I think we will do that because we haven't seen. I can't see into the future, but looking at the sort of player Mourinho is, once you put him and Rice in front of the back four, and you've got Calafiori to come back, I think we're going to get even more meaner at the back, if that's possible. You know what I mean? It'll be great. You can't. I love. It's Arsenal's DNA, mate. 1-0.
It is. And what did you make of the performances of our back line? Because I didn't particularly think Ben White was outstanding, but I thought the other three were. I thought Saliba, considering he got a yellow card, was outstanding. Right. Gabriel with the goal. But also for me, Timber, he was my man of the match. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah. Timber, he's been the cherry on the cake in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? That's one of the best performances I've seen from an Arsenal fullback anywhere. And I'll tell you something, he can mix it up. He can pass instantly, but if you want to rough it with him, mate, he'll have it. I'll tell you, I was really, really impressed with him, Dan. I'm over the moon for him. You know, he lost the whole of last season through injury, and he's come back, and he looks like he's never been away. But I think I'd rotate him. We'll get onto that when we talk about Atlanta. But I'll leave Ben White out Thursday night, but we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah, no, we will do, man. I want to talk about that and Man City as well today. So there's quite a lot to get through, and we don't have long. So, look, I've got to be honest. I think defensively, Arsenal are absolutely sound. We know that, right? Look, Gabriel, I think he's got 15 goals now as a centre half for Arsenal. That is incredible. When you look at headed goals, I think Tim Cahill has got 23 and he's ninth on the list. Well, Gabriel's only been here for a few years. He's already got 15, right? The headed goals from Gabriel is phenomenal. Saliba partnership is absolutely outstanding. I'm with you in relation to Timber. Defensively, we were solid. In midfield, Chris, I don't know what your thoughts are about going forward because Erdegaard ain't here. Rice was suspended. He's now back. Jorginho and Partey, I thought off the ball were very good, but at times on the ball were a little sloppy, although I didn't think any of them played terribly bad. But he did go for Trossard to replace Erdegaard. What did you make of that, and what would you like to see happen going forward if Erdegaard's injured for a while?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm really worried about the Odegaard injury because he's been to specialist. His swelling's still not gone down. I mean, I was hoping he'd be back after the international break, but I'm not sure. So going forward, I think Trossard did a good job at number 10. Trossard, I thought, done all right there. But going forward, I'll play. I know he only played the last 6 minutes, but you know what I'm going to say. He's got to be given his chance. Nwaneri, give him a go. Seriously. And Juninho and Partey, you've got to admit, I thought they were wonderful, but you can't expect them to play 3 games a week, Dan. I'm telling you.
Nah.
Because they're not going to be able to do it.
No, so you're right.
I know we're skipping ahead, but Thursday, for me, play Rice, but play young Nathan next to him, see what he can do.
Look, I think I was going to move on to Ethan Nwaneri anyway, so it's a nice little segue into Thursday night. I was really impressed with him when he came on at the North London derby, not just because he looked good, but because it looked like he had absolutely zero fear. He was fearless, but he was so confident on the ball. When he completely sold that midfielder, put him on his backside and carried on running, I thought, yeah, you've got something about you, kid. You are a baller. And everybody's always said this term to me, Chris, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I think Arteta looks at Vieira and Smith-Rowe and says, nah, I fancy Nwaneri even more now. These two can go. And I think we will see how much he rates him on Thursday night. Because if he starts him or he plays him for the majority of the game, we know we're going to see him a lot more than some people are saying. Yeah. Now, I don't think he should be playing every single game, don't get me wrong. But if Erdegaard's out, at the moment, the best player, in my opinion, to come in for him is the natural replacement. And I think Ethan Nwaneri's that guy.
But you got Thursday and you got next week against Bolton as well to give him a run out as well, haven't you? Because just in this new format, it's not the be all and end all of Thursday night. It's not like we're playing them home and away, is it? Do you understand? It's not.
That's it.
So you give him his head, see what he can do, and I think you might be pleasantly surprised. It's like, I really rate him, but I don't give him 10 minutes Thursday and then play him for 90 against Bolton. You're not going to learn nothing, really, are you?
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. I was really impressed with him in pre-season, really impressed with him when he has got minutes in the first team. And I remember last season when the World Cup was on and we went to, a couple of seasons ago now, was it? We went to the Emirates to watch a Juventus friendly, me and my dad. And Cozy Dubry and Ethan Nwaneri come on and they both looked fantastic. They really did. I know Cozy Dubry's now gone to Brighton, but Ethan Nwaneri just looked special. And I thought, yeah, you look ready. And every time I've seen him, he don't look out of place. Now, I understand it's a risk, but he just don't look. He looks fearless, Chris. He looks like he's got all the confidence in the world, and I think there's an opportunity to play him on Thursday night, mate. I really do.
And I think I was saying how about playing Timber right back and Calafiori left back on Thursday night? You thought about that? Experiment.
Look, I'll say this. The two players I'm worried about are Saliba and Gabriel because they've been playing every single game now for the last, it was 41 games last season. They're not going to be fit for every single game again this season, right? So I wouldn't mind looking at one of those being rested, but I don't know how we do that. Timber might have to come into the middle. Kivior might have to play. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do it. But I actually think Arteta will play them both. I actually think Arteta will play quite a strong side. I really do. But you're right. He could do something with the fullbacks. If Calafiori's back fit, I don't know if he is.
He is. They've just on Sky now. They've done a training thing, and he's there fully running around, and he looks all right. He's the only one who's back down out of all the injured players.
Good. I'll play him then. I'll play him at left back. I'll play him at
Because
left back.
yeah, I would. Because obviously he's got experience of playing against Atalanta. You know a lot about how they're set up, etc. So I think it's a no-brainer, Dan. But we're not the manager.
No, of course not. I agree with you in the midfield. I would drop Partey and I'd have Rice and Jorginho in there, and then I would play Nwaneri and I'd give him a chance. But I've got to ask you about the front three on Thursday because we've got options now, Chris. We can play Jesus, who's back. We can play Sterling, who's back. Martinelli or Trossard, who do we go with? Does Havertz and Saka get a rest? So let me ask you, what would you do with the front three and who gets a rest for you?
Well, I definitely rest Saka, but I might be whistling in the wind because he never does he? But he never does. He plays him mainly because I think he's made a kryptonite. There is one player who deserves a rest. That's Saka. So I'll give him a rest, and I'll play Sterling wide right, and I'd rest Havertz and play Jesus up front, and I'll keep Martinelli where he was.
That's exactly what I'd do. That is my front three: Martinelli, Sterling, and Jesus. And
Yeah.
what made me laugh was Mikel Arteta said, "Oh yeah, we didn't really know what happened with Saka. He keeps cramping up." And I'm like, "It's because you're playing him every game. Like, give him a rest, man. Like, it's incredible, isn't it?"
But the thing is that rest is sort of a bit of a topic for footballers at the moment. They're saying they're playing, and they are playing too much football. And I think to myself, I'll tell you what would be a good idea. Why not get rid of some of these pathetic internationals? Do you know we had 4 players injured on Sunday, Dan, and 4 of them got hurt playing for their countries.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
not on.
No, it ain't. We got to be a bit more ruthless now. I think Arteta, if we get this next international break and Ødegaard goes, I'm going to be pissed off with Arteta. He needs to keep him.
Yeah, but if you want to look at the football calendar, you got to look at some of these internationals, haven't you? I mean, look at the England manager. Why did he play Saka twice? What's he going to learn by playing Saka against Finland? Seriously.
No.
And I could go further. What are we going to learn by England playing Finland? I mean, you know what I mean? It's a complete. I hate international football, Dan, except for the actual tournament. Because the reason I hate it is we as a club always suffer. Always, and it's cost us big time,
Yeah, facts. Well, someone who ain't going to have to worry about getting injured is Ben White because he ain't interested in playing international football by the sounds of it. He's told everyone to bugger off. Everyone thought it was to do with Southgate. I think, what is that? What's your opinion on that? Like, what do you think all that is about?
I think I've read. Apparently, he don't get on with a lot of the England players in the squad, but he's the sort of geezer. I think he sort of takes it or leave it. You know what I mean? If he don't want to play for England, I'm over the moon because I don't want him to go away with it. But my way, no Arsenal player go anywhere. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm a bit selfish like that as well. I've always been club over country, although I'd love England to win something. I'd take Arsenal winning something any day over that. Look, let's talk a little bit about Martinelli and Trossard because obviously there's been this whole who do we play on the left, who do we start, who do we bench, who comes on. At the moment, there's an opportunity for him to play both, and I expect both of them to start against Man City. Looks like Trossard is the guy who wants to play in that Ødegaard position while he's out. Martinelli had an unbelievable chance at White Hart Lane and he just runs with his head down again. He doesn't square it to Saka and he puts a pathetic shot in against Vicario. But I actually thought he was brilliant off the ball and I thought his work rate was unbelievable. Defensively, he was phenomenal. But there's something wrong with Martinelli at the moment, Chris, isn't there?
Yeah, going forward, but his actual team ethic, he's sacrificing his natural game at the moment because it's not only the back 4 are keeping clean sheets, it's people like Martinelli and Trossard running back and covering the fullback, He done a wonderful job. If you look at as a team player, there's nothing wrong with him because he done a wonderful job Sunday against Tottenham. But if you're looking at Martinelli as someone you want to hang your hat on to score a goal, then I think he's lost a lot of confidence. But I just need him to get a little break. You know what I mean? A little nick, score even a lucky goal anywhere, and I think you'll see him back to his best. But I always like a player who sacrifices his own game for the good of the team, Dan, and that's what he did. So at the moment, he's getting my backing. I'm not really moaning about him at all.
Yeah, listen, I'm the same. I really do like Martinelli, and I think if he's Martinelli never ever um, plays a game of football and does not give 110%. The tenacity is always there,
Yeah,
the passion, the desire, and the drive is always there. So I can't really get behind, get out a player who's giving 110%, right? I used to always say that with Danny Welbeck and Iwobi at Arsenal. They were never going to make it to the very top, but they go on, they give 110%, right? I think Martinelli's definitely got that in him. He's got 110% given. The ability of the lad is crazy. I honestly believe he's phenomenal, right? When he's on his day, but he's a confidence player. And that's why I would continue to play him at the moment, because on Thursday night, I think he could have a good game. I think it could be a good game for him, right? So I would continue to play him. I think he will continue to play him. Certainly with Erdegaard being out, that's going to help as well. I just wonder, though, that if he has got this season to prove, because there ain't no denying that over the last couple of seasons, we were massively linked with Mudryk for a lot of money and massively linked with Nico Williams for a lot of money. So I just wonder if Arteta sees Martinelli long term, Chris, or if he's kind of looking at him and giving him kind of last chance saloon. I don't know what your thoughts
yeah,
are on that.
yeah. Because I think he's done. You know what Arteta's like. I think he gives people enough chances, but then he could be next summer Smith Rowe. I know what you're getting at there. Yeah,
That's my
I
worry.
understand
Yeah,
that. Yeah, he could be another Ramsdale. You know what I mean? But at the moment, Arteta keeps picking him. So I think he obviously he's impressing Arteta. So that's where we are.
yeah.
But
No, he is
I'd
impressive.
hate to lose him.
I would hate to lose him. I would absolutely hate to lose him. And I honestly think if Martinelli was to get his head up a bit more, he would, like, let's be real. He runs through and Trossard puts him through. He runs through his heads up. He sees Saka and he slots it home and it's a goal. Because he's running with his head down 100 mile an hour, he's always quite raw still and quite rash. I wonder, I'll be honest, I love Martinelli, but I wonder how much he's improved in the last 3 years. I look at his game
He
and I think,
hasn't.
have you had, yeah, exactly. That's my worry. He ain't got any better from when he was
But
18
the
to now
thing
22.
is, Dan, in those 3 years, mate, he has had some bad injuries, hasn't he?
Yeah,
We mustn't forget that. You don't know how that might have affected his confidence. So
yeah.
it's all up here, isn't it?
It is massively mentally. It is his confidence, and that would be my worry. Is I saw Martinelli at 17, and he ran with his head down. I'm looking at Martinelli 5 years later at 22, and he's still running with his head down. Like, I'm thinking, who's told him to put? Someone must have told him by now to put his bloody head up. When you're running. So look, I want to see him improve. I love him. I'm going to stick with him.
Especially the level of coaching, he's got over the Arsenal. I mean,
Yeah.
Arteta, let's face it, is a fan. Someone must be telling him. Mate, I don't know, Dan. We just hope one day he puts his head up and smashes it in the back of the net. It'd be quite nice.
Listen, and he will. I've got no doubt that he will. Absolutely, and I think as well with Martinelli, I've made up maybe too many excuses for him. Maybe I was a little bit harsh on some of the other players, and I was a little bit of a hypocrite when it comes to Martinelli's performances, right? But I'll say this. Last season, I said that he had no sustainability behind him, beside him, or in front of him, because it was a different winger, a different striker, a different left eight, and a different left back every single week. Once we get Calafiori and Mourinho in there, I keep saying Mourinho, but it's Marino, isn't it? Once we get Calafiori and Marino in there, I think with that stability, will have the Martinelli that we need, and it will flourish his
Yeah,
game. And if it doesn't, I can hold my hands up and go, it's on the player. He's got to look at himself, because I
fair
think
enough.
that's what we need. We still haven't got our left side fit yet, Chris, have we?
No, it's weird. It's weird, isn't it? I don't know really. It's going to be quite interesting, isn't it? Because I wonder if Arsenal surprised how well Timber's played at left back. Because I
Yeah,
mean, Calafiori is a left back, isn't he? But he can also play a central defence. So I don't know what's going to happen there, Dan. Obviously, as the season progresses, we'll find out.
absolutely. We will. And listen, I thought Timber was brought in to be the cover for Saliba and right back, and we found himself playing at left back and bloody good there. So look, that's what happens at Arsenal sometimes. We've seen it at the Arsenal before, with Lauren being brought in midfield playing right back, and Kolo
Yeah,
Toure was a
good point.
striker. He's now centre back. Do you know what I mean? We've had that before. So hopefully that's the case. What do you make? And let's be honest. Let's move to Thursday. In terms of Atalanta, because they're a good side, Chris. They just won the Europa League. I think we can afford to rotate and still beat them. But what do you make of this new format? Is it massively important that we pick up 3 points here, or would it matter if we drew?
I think. I don't think it'll matter if we drew, because as long as you come in at the top 8 clubs, you automatically qualify in that group, and then I think is it from 8 to 24 you go in the playoff. It's not like we're playing a team home and away, and you've got to get a good result. I think this new format's all about money, Dan. More games, etc. But I'm not. It's weird. It's a Champions League game, but it's not the be all and end all of my week. Sunday's the big one for me, and that's why I definitely rotate Thursday, 100%. But you know what Arteta's like. He's not one of life's great rotators, is he?
No, he ain't. And I honestly believe the only few players we might not see are going to be Partey, Saka, and Havertz. I think that's about it. I think the others will probably remain, but I might be wrong. Maybe Calafiori as well, and if he's now fit. But look, let's move to Sunday, Chris. It's massive. Well, it is more than massive, and it's early. I don't want to be playing them this early, if I'm honest. But in a strange way, we get over and done with. Got Villa 3 points, Tottenham 3 points. The fixtures we've had ain't been kind, and we've come out unscathed. Now we've got Etihad. This is going to be tough. How do you see this one going? Is Arteta going to set up similarly to how he did at Spurs and Villa, do you think?
I think it's set up the same way, and I'm worried about the referee, because obviously, Mr. Oliver, he's got a few City, but I suppose we better not go there. Yeah, I think we'll try and do them on the break.
Yeah.
I think we'll play exactly how we did at Tottenham, exactly how we did at Villa, and we'll try and do them on the break. As long as we don't lose, Dan, I'm quite happy.
Yeah, it's a must not lose game for sure. If we beat them, my boy, that would be phenomenal. I will say this: if there's any team that can keep Haaland quiet, it's Arsenal. We've done it home and away last year. However, it would be very foolish to just concentrate on Haaland, because they've got top players other than him as well, right? But I will say, look, Man City look brilliant. They haven't even got Rodri and Foden back yet, and they look phenomenal, right? They're a top side. We're not shocked by this. But I just wonder if there's part of me that's not thinking, do a little bit of both. And what I mean by that is keep very resolute. Try and do a bit of an Anfield 89, if you get me. Try and be resolute. And if we can get that goal, then we take the 3 points that way. Because I don't think if we come and play Man City, as much as I'd like to see it, I think we could be left a little bit vulnerable, if you get me, and be a bit suicidal, Chris.
No, people still go on about, Rodri taunted the Arsenal, didn't he? Said you only come to our ground to get a draw, and we knew we'd win the league because that was your attitude that day. Do you remember that? So yeah. I suppose that might be in the Arsenal's players' heads. But going to Man City and coming out of a point is not, especially so early in the season. If it was 5 games to go and we were neck and neck, it's a bit different, isn't it? But it's 34 league matches to go yet, Dan. So the draw is not the end of the world. That's how absolutely. I'm looking at it. And if we can nick it 1-0, so be it.
Yeah. I'm just, last season, I understand what people were saying. We went there not to lose, right? I get that. But we could have won the game, Chris. I remember Trossard going through, and I remember thinking, go run. And he just didn't have the legs and the pace, but he was through. And there was a chance Jesus had early doors. Yeah, Nathan Ake, I remember, had a header as well. Maybe they should have scored 2, but we had chances in the game. And I watched the Brentford game, or the highlights. Brentford actually got in behind Man City. So there's chances. They can be They can be beaten.
If there is one weakness, Dane, they don't keep many clean sheets. I know they might let you score, then they go and hit you for 4 or 5, but that's not the point. But they don't keep a lot of clean sheets, do they, see? No. And you're right, Brentford caused them a lot of trouble, And then what happened was that the disgraceful foul on Wan-Bissaka. Who's the main Brentford player? He's out for 2 months.
Oh, Visser.
I forget his name. Yeah, have you seen that foul?
Yeah, horrendous.
Yeah, it's another. I'm not going to go down the old ref conspiracy thing, because that's for another day. But that was a terrible tackle, and as far as I'm concerned, that was a red card.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shall we talk quickly, very, very quickly about yellow cards this weekend? I've never seen so many in my life, mate. I could not believe what was
I
happening.
think I think Taylor lost the plot, and he hasn't got a game this weekend, has he? He's been taken off the list. So I don't know what all that was about.
I've
I
never
mean, it was
seen someone
stupid.
with yellow cards so much in my life, mate. The whole
No.
weekend, again, starting our game, it was like that as well. I mean, I couldn't believe what I
Thing
was
is,
seeing.
I thought. Thing is, that referee we had Sunday is not top of my Christmas card list, but actually, for once, I thought he had a very good game, Dan. I thought he refereed the match okay, actually.
Yeah, likewise, mate. Likewise. And, look, Michael Oliver, we know what happened last time. He was at the Emirates. Kovacic should have been sent off, and he didn't send him off. But I don't know if we actually believe that, there is a conspiracy thing. That's not really for this podcast. But what I will say is that we can't be looking at these referees anymore and going, right, the referee didn't help us. They ain't going to. They are rubbish. They are crap. The officiating now needs to be taken out of England and overseas, in my opinion, because ours are crap. They're absolutely awful. And I've seen some bad ones over the years, but they seem to be getting worse. Because if I'm honest with you, Chris, I don't actually think England have ever had any half-decent referees. I think Jeff Winter, Uriah Rennie, I don't know if there's any others that were like you can think of, other than Kalina, who was out overseas, that was top quality.
Going back, I think Keith Hackett weren't a bad ref.
Oh, Hackett, yeah.
And Mike Halsey weren't bad. And then I'm struggling, and I've been watching football over 50 years. I can only name two, so there you go.
Well, look at the ones that used to go away. We used to get, Mike Dean's the best and Graham Pole's the best. I thought they were some of the worst. I thought they were awful.
Yeah, don't start me on Mike Dean, mate.
As well.
Do you remember Uriah Rennie? Do you remember him?
Uriah Rennie, Andy D'Urso.
Andy
D'Urso.
And who was the one where a little one? He had ginger hair. He sent Petit off at Wolves.
Durkin.
Oh, there you're talking, mate. Rock and roll, he was.
Everyone used to think he was the best ref. Oh, he's a brilliant ref. He is. You think, what? None of them have been brilliant, mate. But look,
Taylor, Taylor's gone backwards, Dan, and he is supposed to be our top referee, isn't he? Let's face it. I wonder if they're suffering from fatigue as well, because there's not so many. There's not a lot of refs to go around, is there? Apparently, and that's why you're getting the same ones week after week.
I'm going to lie, mate. I know they get paid well, but it's a bloody horrible job. I wouldn't want to be a referee. Horrible job. No. Horrible job. But look, it is what it is. That's referees for you. We ain't going to get anything. The one we had at Emirates the other day against Brighton, what's his name? Oh, he's gone. What's his name? The one who sent Rice off. Yeah. What's his name? Tell me in the chat, people. I've forgotten his name. Absolutely horrendous. Yeah, can't remember his name. I can look at his face. He looks like Craig Scott, doesn't he? From same old Arsenal days.
That's right, yeah.
Chris Kavanagh.
That's it.
Chris Kavanagh. Looks like Craig Scott, bless him. Yeah, that's him.
It is Craig Scott, yeah.
Perhaps it is Craig, yeah. I ain't seen him for a while, but listen, that's referees for you. Kavanagh, well done, Tone. I must say, I completely went there, but I've got it back, Chris Kavanagh. Look, it's going to be hard against Man City. It's going to be tough against Atalanta. But I do have the faith at the moment with the defence, Chris, that we can go and actually have a chance of getting through games. And I think, that old saying Steve Bold said, don't concede a goal, you're never going to lose a game. It's stuck in my mind. And obviously, you got the quote, which is defence wins your titles. Let's hope that this defence is good enough to win a title. But I wanted to stick with the defence very quickly because Gabriel is being offered a new contract from what we hear and early stages, but it looks quite positive. But Real Madrid are circling and they want Saliba. What's your thoughts on these two? Because Saliba and Real Madrid, it is a different knock. I'm not going to lie. I said it this morning on my show. I do think he will be a Real Madrid player at one stage of his career. I just hope it ain't now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that puts us back onto the pressure. We got to win. We got to start winning trophies, Dan, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or we will lose him. That's the only answer I've got to that. I'm not worried. I mean, they can come knocking. They used to come knocking every summer when Wenger was there, weren't they, with Henry and etc. And if you're winning trophies, why would he leave Arsenal? But the thing is, with certain players' minds, especially when Real Madrid come knocking, I bet if you asked Saliba what was your football ambition, I bet you say it would be easy to play for Real Madrid, because a lot of players in France, Spain, etc., that is their holy grail, to play for Real Madrid. So to keep him away from their clutches for a couple of years, we're going to have to win something, Dan. That's the bottom line, mate, on that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think we can. Don't get me wrong. I think we could be in a position where we can win. But my problem is if we don't, I think he's going. Now, I honestly believe he will end up at Real Madrid at some stage of his career. He's only 22 years old, right? I don't think he's going to be playing for 32. That's for sure, right? I hope he is, but I don't think he will be. I just hope that he holds out and he goes to Real Madrid when he's 28, 29 and he stays with the Arsenal. The only way we're going to do that is two things. We've got to win trophies, and I'm not talking about pick up a Carabao Cup every so often. I'm talking about proper major honours. But also, I think we're going to have to pay him the wages, because I was looking at what they pay at Real Madrid. Players of his calibre, they're putting them on £400,000 a week. Are Arsenal going to offer him a contract of £400,000 a week, Chris? I don't know if they will.
No, that's especially with the Labour budget we've got coming up on October the 30th. He'll get taxed so much there ain't up owing us. You know what I mean?
He will. But look, I love the player. I think he's phenomenal. I honestly believe it's the best partnership in Europe, and I wanted to get your opinions on both of them and Gabriel as well, because I just think the partnership is so good, mate.
Well, I always say it's the best centre-back partnership in European football, Dan. And I'll tell you something else. It's the best Arsenal partnership since Adams and Keown stroke Bold.
I agree.
You know, it's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's better than Toure and Campbell. It's better than Koscielny and Mertesacker. It's definitely up there with Adams, Keown and Bold. I know that they did it more, but we haven't been blessed with centre-half pairings, have we? You know what I mean? Since Keown and Bold. Toure and Campbell deserve a mention, but Koscielny and Mertesacker is the only real one I can think of at the Emirates era, and that weren't phenomenal, was it? So,
and you've only got to look at when we lost Saliba a couple of seasons ago with those 10 games to go. Look what happened then. We fell apart.
Yep.
So, you know.
I actually think he's the most important player. I do.
Yeah. But the thing is, get to the international thing, my international moan, France played in both games, didn't they? So he's going to be playing for France, playing for Arsenal. Do you understand? Where's he going to get a rest?
No, he's not going to. He's not going to, mate. And, you know, I don't blame France, because I'd play him in every single game if I was the France manager as well. And I'm sure that these players want to play for their country. But this is what I'm talking about with Saliba, that on Thursday night, I'll be more than happy to have him sit this one out. The last thing I want, Chris, is for Thursday night to come. Yeah, Arsenal beat Atalanta. But Gabriel and Saliba got knocks. They're out for Sunday. That is dreadful. You know, that's dreadful. And I said it previously. I think he's the most important player. I think he's more important than Saka. I don't know who comes in and replaces him, mate. I know we got Sterling for Saka now, but who comes in for Saliba? Does Timber have to play there?
You could, I suppose, Calafiori can play there. You could move Ben White as centre back and play Timber at right back. You know, Ben White has played centre back for Brighton before. I think he actually played centre back for a season for Brighton, didn't he? So you have got options, but you don't want to go there, Dan, really, do you? It's like, you know, every player is important. We are missing Odegaard, and I've got an horrible feeling, you know, we ain't going to see Odegaard about Christmas, but that's only my feeling on it. It's not fact. I just don't know.
Well, I'll give you my opinion on it. I think we'll see Marino and Odegaard after the international break, which I think is around about November. Now the time
October, next one.
Sorry, I said November. Sorry, October. Now we've got a massive end of October, November, because we're in the middle of games at the moment where we've gone Villa away, Spurs away, Man City away, come up, and obviously Atlanta away. Well, at the end of October, we've got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Inter Milan away, and Chelsea away. I mean, who is making these fixtures for us here? This is mad. Manchester City have got all their games at home, haven't they? You notice that?
Yeah. It must be some Spurs geezer who's working on it, who works on the fixture computer. It's got to be, isn't it?
It's incredible, isn't it? I honestly can't believe it. But I think that's when they'll.
Well,
I reckon around that time when they come back. But that's just me.
against that, once we get this horrible week out of the way, we got a nice little run and we at home fixtures. We got Bolton, which in its own sort of way is an important game
Yeah,
because you can give a few players a run out, give a few youngs. You know, if you want to win something, you know, I know it's the League Cup, but you never know. Then we're home to Southampton and Leicester, so I expect 6 points there.
yeah.
PSG at home, and then the international break.
I expect to win all them games. I honestly I do. I expect to see us winning all them games. Bournemouth, Leicester, Bolton, and PSG. I expect to beat all of them. I do. Not just because we're at home, because I feel that we're better teams. Now Bolton we can rotate. PSG we can't. I think we have to play our best team. But Bournemouth and Leicester, we should be beating them at home. There's no way we should be going in a title race and dropping points to them at home. Like, that just should not be happening for
No.
me. But I think we're going to need these two players back in our midfield because we're short. And at the moment, we're clinging on to Jorginho and Partey, who, as you said earlier in the stream, ain't going to be about for 40 games this season. We can't rely on them. We can rely on them for a game or two, but that's it. I don't know if you saw this, Chris. I got sent this by judges, right? I'll put it up on screen. I put this onto the viewers earlier. This is the Arsenal team at the moment. And if you zoom in to Martin Odegaard, he's got a football over his boot. So he's injured, isn't he?
So
He's obviously got a boot on or something.
Yeah, that's what's worrying me because the Arsenal, they've not exactly been up front with his injury, have they? You
No,
know,
not at
usually you get there's no like little rumours and social media, but that's why I think he's out at Christmas. It's only my theory, and I'll be pleasantly surprised and hopeful I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, and why did he get injured? Why? Let's go back to Odegaard. Remember, he went into that second international in Arsene Wenger, what he used to call the red zone. Remember, he wasn't Norway was saying he wasn't fit when he joined up with them. Remember that? And we let him play, and look what happened.
I never would have let him play that game. Never.
No.
When he came off at Brighton, I thought, oh, at least he won't go away with Norway now. And there he is, and he gets injured. I couldn't believe it, you know. And this is what annoys me with Arteta. It should be clever like Ferguson was and say, no, you ain't going, mate. Sorry, you ain't going. But we don't do it. We let him play, and this is what happens, unfortunately. You know, it's frustrating. It really is. Big up to Mark. Big up Dan and Chris. Dan, I'm down for the Bolton game. Going. Yes, mate, I am going. Drop me a line, and we'll meet after the game, 100%. Sorry, Chris. Go on, mate.
Especially when a lot of other clubs are pulling it. Foden was pulled out because he had a cold.
Yeah.
You know, Cole Palmer was pulled out because he had an upset. Then he plays for Chelsea at the weekend. You know what I mean? We've got to wise up there. And I know we're laughing about it, but you know, I wasn't laughing that night when I saw Odegaard getting carried off. I've got to tell you.
No, neither was I, mate. Absolutely not. Absolutely crazy. Rocky, you're the new member of the channel. Big up to yourself. People, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, which is free. Hit the subscribe button, which is free. And also, if you would like to become a member, you need to click join, follow the instructions, and you can support the channel in that way, like Rocky's doing. Absolute legend. Thank you so much, my bro. Really much appreciate that. Right, Chris, let me ask you, because obviously we're going through a bit of a fixture pile up at the moment. I wanted to segue onto it, and you did nicely. The Carabao Cup. Obviously, we've got our thoughts on Atalanta, got our thoughts on Manchester City. This is more of a general question, not just Bolton, but Bolton is obviously coming up. How serious do you want to take this League Cup? Because I personally want to take it seriously.
I do, because I think we discussed this. The final's in February, isn't it?
Yep.
And then we have our record in the League Cup historically is crap. The League Cup has caused Arsenal more nightmares than any other trophy. Think about the finals we've lost.
Yeah, Luton, Man City.
Yeah, Swindon, Luton, Birmingham. Tottenham have buried us in the semi-final. Remember that 5-1? So if there's any trophy it's given me tears, it's this League Cup. But in saying that, I would take it seriously because it's a trophy on the sideboard in February, done. But I'm not too sure Arteta will agree with us, Dan, because I expect to see he'll play a lot of youngsters next week against Bolton. You know, even youngsters you haven't thought about might play. So,
do you think he will take it more seriously than he has done before, though? Because I'll say that. I mean, I understand he's going to rotate, and he will. He's going to play some of the kids, and I get that. But do you expect him to have more of an eye on it this year? Because I think there's pressure on him to win a trophy this season, Chris. He can't go trophyless again, can he? So he's got to win something. Surely we have to take this more seriously than we have done in the last few years, no?
Yeah, well, Chris Hudson and Dan Potts would, but I'm not too. I'm not too sure on Arteta would, Dan. So I think you might be shocked at his selection next week. I think you might see people like that young Maldini play who's on the bench at Tottenham, and people like that, Nichols and people. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes really low key against Bolton. Who, by the way, are bottom of the league, and I don't think they've won a game all season.
Well, I mean, listen, if we play some kids, I do not care. But if he has absolutely an unrecognisable team and we lose, I'll be questioning him what he's doing, because we need to go far in this competition, in my opinion. I don't mind losing to Manchester City in this competition, and I don't mind losing to Liverpool, because you can in these games. They're good sides. I don't want to go out to a Bolton or a Millwall or a Forest or a Everton or Leicester. I can't be dealing with this anymore.
I suppose you should ask yourself what first teamers would play next week. So I'm going Neto in goal. I think he'll play. Maybe Jesus will play.
This Neto goalkeeper's cup.
We done me there. Then, in that case, he'll play the Ajax kid. Then that'd be interesting. You can't. I don't want to see. You can't play. You can't play Raya against Bolton, Dan, and say he got injured. Yeah, he's left us in a bit of a pickle there, hasn't he? So so that really possibly could make my point. Yeah.
I mean, look.
So, and who else could?
Yeah. Go on. No, go on. You go for it. Go
on. And I want Mourinho. He's got his cast off now, hasn't he? So I know it's a bit of a left field. You never know. He could be fit and give him a run out next week. I mean, I don't know. I've never done my shouldering. I don't know. Quick, if he's got his cast off, what does that mean? Does that mean he's getting better? I mean, that's never happened to me. So he could play. Kiwar could play, and there's a rumour Tommy Asu's nearly fit, so he could play a few experienced players. But you've done me there on the goalkeeper, Dan. I tell you, he will play the Ajax kid we got from Ajax.
The only reason I know that is because when we signed him, I did a transfer show, and someone went, he's bought a cup keeper. Oh no, he hasn't, because he played for Bournemouth, so he's cup tied in that. I thought you were joking. So I didn't know that until they said it. But look, we have got players. Zinchenko, Calafiori, they haven't had many games yet. Kiwior, you mentioned, I agree. Tommy, what is happening with him? I mean, we were told he was out for a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of months now. I mean, what is going on with this guy?
And he's disappeared. Yeah, do you remember that? I'm going about a program called Rowan and Martin's Laughing when they lost the Japanese soldier in the forest after the Second World War. I think they can't find him.
I've lost him. I can't believe where he's gone, honestly, mate. I mean, there's a comment.
He's had his hair dyed. I don't know if you've seen the first team fixture. He's got a lovely new haircut, Tommy Asu. I've got to tell you. He's gone all blonde highlights.
Blonde.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I did see that. MHM_UK says there's rumours that we want to sell Tommy Asu in January. But look, I mean, if he don't stay fit, we've got to consider it, because he ain't staying fit. It's crazy. Lil Tim says, Potsy, do you start Calafiori tomorrow? Yeah, if he's fit, I would if he's fit. But we'll see how fit he is. But look, we against Bolton and Atalanta, when we're rotating, we have got players like Nwaneri. Lewis Skelly is another one who's proven he's good enough to be in a part of the squad. We've got Jesus and Sterling and Martinelli who can still play. So we have got players, but I don't think we need to be putting out 17-year-olds in every position, Chris. Do you know what I mean?
No, we don't need to, but it's only my opinion, Dan. Anyway, we'll find out next week when we're where we've lost 3-0 over Bolton.
Oh, mate, don't. Won't be laughing if that does happen. Let me tell you that. But look, I do have faith that we can get through that game. I do. But look, before we do close, because I know we've got a shorter one today. I wanted to ask you quickly about your thoughts on the score predictions for these next two games, Atalanta and Manchester City, mate. So over to you. What are you saying?
Right, Thursday night 1-1. I think we'll do 1-1, and then Sunday I'm going to let my heart rule me head, and I'm going 1-0 Arsenal in a very controversial game. I've got a feeling. I think there'll be a lot of controversy on Sunday. That's just, you've asked me. It's just my opinion. I can see a lot. I can see like ref watch going on for 2 hours Monday on Sky over it. I'll put it that way. I think it'll be a quite tasty game.
Well, I'm going to say 1-1 in both games.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I think. But I hope I'm wrong and you're right.
I'll let me heart roll me head there, Dan.
Nah, listen, I can understand why, mate. You got to be optimistic. And look, there's no reason why we can't do that. We've got the defence to do it and we can nick them on the break for sure. So, look, I hope we win 1-0 in both games. But I just feel at the moment, I think that Thursday night could be rotating. Atalanta are a good side. And then at Man City, they're a hard team to beat. They were a very hard team to beat. So that's what we'll go with. But yeah, no, big up to you, Chris. Listen, man, thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure speaking to you, mate. Top man. And listen, people, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. And make sure you join us tonight around about 7 o'clock where we got the This Is London show. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy, people. We're out of it.